Okay, now you have my attention. What's up, boys and girls? Welcome back. Let's get this video demonetized right off the bat by showing one of these. But we're gonna focus on the brand new Osight XR, and it's got some really nice upgrades over the previous models, which we are also gonna take a look at and compare it to. And you're probably wondering, why is this guy wearing a hoodie on this video? I don't have central heat in my office. This is above the garage. I do have a fireplace in here, but it got really cold last night. I forgot to run that thing, so it's cold. Now the Osight X, I just couldn't love. It was way too big for me, in my opinion. Now, I don't love the proprietary charger on the top of this thing, and I will say that the XR still uses that charger. The C, however, was quite a bit smaller than the X. You can kind of see the height difference on them there, and it used a battery instead of that charger. Now, if you had to pick on the C, the only thing you could probably say about this one is that it was an open emitter, all right? And so a lot of guys don't care about that. A lot of guys do, and they won't run one that is open like that. If there was a downside to the C, it was probably that. The XR, however, took a page from the RMR HD's playbook, and it is an enclosed emitter, all right? And you can see it even has that profile where it kind of extends over the front of the slide right there. I'll roll in a picture right here so you can see the RMR HD. Here you can see that cap that sits on the top and shows you the battery level. When it's plugged in or when it's attached to the device, it shows you the battery level of the actual Optic. When this thing is off by itself, it shows you the battery level of the internal battery on here. So there's four primary differences between the XR and its predecessors. Enclosed emitter was number one. Number two, see these little notches right here on the back of the Optic? And you'll also note there's a button right here on the side. If I hit that button, let's see if I can get this on camera, it actually pops up a set of rear sights. Now, I already have suppressor height sights on this that look through the Optic, co-witness with it perfectly, but if you don't, or if you don't want to run a rear sight and you're running a standard height front post, that will index perfectly and give you a little set of irons built into the Optic. All right, difference number three is the actual reticle inside of here. There are several different reticles, all right? I'm gonna read from a screen here. There's a 2 MOA dot, 2 MOA dot with the 32 MOA circle, a 6 MOA dot, 6 MOA dot with the 32 MOA circle, or just the 32 MOA circle. And in order to switch through them, you simply hold the minus button on the brightness there. You're not really going to be able to see this. You'll probably see it changing a little bit in the viewport here. There you can see it switch to a dot, back to the circle, back to a dot, back to a circle. So you can kind of make it out with there, but really, really easy to switch between them. All right, before I get to number four, I said there's four primary differences. That doesn't mean there aren't other differences. For example, the window on this is a little bit smaller than both of its predecessors, especially smaller than the X. Now the X boasted 57,000 hours of runtime, all right? It does have shake to wake, so if this is sitting on your nightstand after, I think it's 3 minutes, the reticle's gonna shut off. As soon as it detects movement and before you can even get it up and get a sight picture, that reticle comes back on. So it's gonna preserve your battery life quite a bit. Where the X was 57,000 hours, this one is back down to 54,000 hours. Another slight difference that's probably not gonna matter to the majority of people watching this video is the number of brightness modes, all right? I'm gonna reference the screen here. The Osight X had 10 daylight and 2 night vision. The C had 10 daylight. The XR goes to 8 daylight and 3 night vision modes. Again, probably not going to matter to the vast majority of you watching this. And the last significant difference, and it has to do with it being a closed emitter, is the predecessors were IPX6 water resistant, where they could take splashes, maybe a light drizzle, stuff like that. This jumps up to IPX7. Because it's all enclosed, it's a little bit more protected. So this can take being submerged. Can I just give a little bit of accolade here that I wish HoloSun would do, that I wish Loophole would do, and maybe some of them do, but I haven't seen it, and I have all of these. I wish Trigicon would do. Osight provides all of these different screws, all of these different mounting screws, all right? And each one of these little cases is a different size. So it's like 6-32, 4-40, 6-40, and M3. And then within each one, there's a set. Can you see the little level difference between the left side and the right side there? The left side are the taller screws, and the left side, this side over here are shorter screws. This is important because on a lot of firearms, there is a spring assembly right in here that controls the extractor. And if your screw is too long, it can run down and it can pinch that screw. Trust me, I've done it. So it's really nice that they provide the short options, because you can run a long one on this side and a short one on this side and not impinge on that spring in there. All right, question for you guys. Put it in the comments. What do you think about these charging hoods? Do you guys like them? Do you wish that they would just consolidate everything to an external replaceable battery? What do you guys think? Now, this is the RMR footprint. For those of you who run something smaller, like my carry pistol is an X Macro with the RMSC footprint, you might need the Osight S. This is also an enclosed emitter, and this thing is freaking fantastic. All right, I'm gonna post a card right up here on the screen if you wanna go watch my review of this one. All right, and that's it, guys. That is the new Osight XR. I'm gonna put a link in the description below to where you can get this. If you're watching this video during the flash sale, disregard the next part I'm gonna say. If you are watching this video after the flash sale, you can use my code Harley10 to get 10% off anything on their website. All right, it doesn't work on sale items though. Okay, so again, link in the description below if you want to check this out. And that is it, guys. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give this video a like; it helps in the algorithms. I appreciate your time watching. Lots more to come, and I'll see you in the next one.